Section 1 of Gay Neck, The Story of a Pigeon. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Rohit Gokhale. Gay Neck, The Story of a Pigeon by Dhan Gopal Mukerji. Dedication and Part 1, Chapter 1, Birth of Gay Neck. Dedication to Suresh Chandra Banerjee, Esquire. Dear Suresh, since Gay Neck needs a protector, I thought of you for several reasons. First of all, being a poet, an observer of nature, and a traveler, you would be able to protect the book from being condemned. In fact, there is no one who can do it as well as yourself. You know the country where Gay Neck grew. You are versed in the lore of birds. For a pigeon, life is a repetition of two incidents, namely, quest of food and avoidance of attacks by its enemies. If the hero of the present book repeats his escapes from attacks by hawks, it is because that is the sort of mishap that becomes chronic in the case of pigeons. Now as to my sources, you well know that they are too numerous to be mentioned here. Many hunters, poets like yourself, and books in many languages have helped me to write Gay Neck. And if you will permit it, I hope to discharge at least a part of my debt by dedicating this book to one of my sources, yourself. I remain most faithfully yours, Dhan Gopal. Part 1, Chapter 1, Birth of Gay Neck. The city of Calcutta, which boasts of 1 million people, must have at least 2 million pigeons. Every third Hindu boy has perhaps a dozen pet carriers, tumblers, fantails, and pouters. The art of domesticating pigeons goes back thousands of years in India, and she has contributed 2 species of pigeons as a special product of her bird fanciers, the fantail and the pouter. Love and care have been showered on pigeons for centuries by emperors, princes, and queens in their marble palaces, as well as by the poor in their humble homes. The gardens, grottos, and fountains of the Indian rich, the small field of flowers and fruits of the common folks, each has its ornament and music, many-colored pigeons and cooing white doves with ruby eyes. Even now, any winter morning, foreigners who visit our big cities may see on the flat-roofed houses innumerable boys waving white flags as signals to their pet pigeons flying up in the crisp, cold air. Through the blue heavens, flocks of the birds soar like vast clouds. They start in small flocks and spend about 20 minutes circling over the roofs of their owners' homes. Then they slowly ascend, and all the separate groups from different houses of the town merge into one big flock and float far out of sight. How they ever return to their own homes is a wonder, for all the housetops look alike in shape in spite of their rose, yellow, violet and white colors. But pigeons have an amazing sense of direction and love of their owners. I have yet to see creatures more loyal than pigeons and elephants. I have played with both, and the tusker on 4 feet in the country, or the bird on 2 wings in the city, no matter how far they wandered, were by their almost infallible instinct brought back to their friend and brother, man. My elephant friend was called Kari, of whom you have heard before, and the other pet that I knew well was a pigeon. His name was Chitragriva, Chitra meaning painted in gay colors, and Griva, neck. In one phrase, pigeon, gay neck. Sometimes he was called iridescent-throated. Of course, Gay Neck did not come out of his egg with an iridescent throat. He had to grow the feathers week by week, and until he was 3 months old, there was very little hope that he would acquire the brilliant collar. But at last, when he did achieve it, he was the most beautiful pigeon in my town in India, and the boys of my town owned 40,000 pigeons. But I must begin this story at the very beginning. I mean with Gay Neck's parents. His father was a tumbler who married the most beautiful pigeon of his day. She came from a noble old stock of carriers. That is why Gainek proved himself later such a worthy carrier pigeon in war as well as in peace. From his mother, he inherited wisdom, from his father, bravery and alertness. He was so quick witted that sometimes he escaped the clutches of a hawk by tumbling at the last moment right over the enemy's head. But of that later, in its proper time and place. Now let me tell you what a narrow escape Gainek had while still in the egg. I shall never forget the day when, through a mistake of mine, I broke one of the two eggs that his mother had laid. It was very stupid of me. I regret it even now. Who knows? Maybe with that broken egg perished the finest pigeon of the world. It happened in this way. Our house was 4 stories high, and on its roof was built our pigeon house. A few days after the eggs were laid, I decided to clean the pigeonhole in which Gainek's mother was sitting on them. I lifted her gently and put her on the roof beside me. Then I lifted each egg carefully and put it most softly in the next pigeonhole, which, however, had no cotton nor flannel on its hard wooden floor. Then I busied myself with the task of removing the debris from the birth nest. As soon as that was done, I brought one egg back and restored it to its proper place. Next, I reached for the second one and laid a gentle but firm hand on it. Just then something fell upon my face like a roof blown by the storm. It was Gainek's father, furiously beating my face with his wings. Worst still, he had placed the claws of one of his feet on my nose. The pain and surprise of it was so great that ere I knew how, I had dropped the egg. I was engrossed in beating off the bird from my head and face, and at last he flew away. But too late. The little egg lay broken in a mess at my feet. I was furious with its clumsy father and also with myself. Why with myself? Because I should have been prepared for the father bird's attack. He took me for a stealer of his eggs, and in his ignorance was risking his life to prevent my robbing his nest. May I impress it upon you that you should anticipate all kinds of surprise attacks when cleaning a bird's home during nesting season. But to go on with our story, the mother bird knew the day when she was to break open the eggshell with her own beak in order to usher Gainek into the world. Though the male sits on the egg pretty nearly 1/3 of the time, for he does that each day from morning till late afternoon, yet he does not know when the hour of his child's birth is at hand. No one save the mother bird arrives at that divine certainty. We do not yet understand the nature of the unique wireless message by which she learns that within the shell the yolk and the white of her egg have turned into a baby bird. She also knows how to tap the right spot so that the shell will break open without injuring her child in the slightest. To me, that is as good as a miracle. Gainek's birth happened exactly as I have described. About the 20th day after the laying of the egg, I noticed that the mother was not sitting on it anymore. She pecked the father and drove him away every time he flew down from the roof of the house and volunteered to sit on the egg. Then he cooed, which meant, "Why do you send me away?" She, the mother, just pecked him the more, meaning, "Please go, the business on hand is very serious." At that, the father flew away. That worried me, for I was anxious for the egg to hatch and was feeling suspicious about its doing it at all. With increased interest and anxiety, I watched the pigeonhole. An hour passed. Nothing happened. It was about the third quarter of the next hour that the mother turned her head one way and listened to something, probably a stirring inside that egg. Then she gave a slight start. I felt as if a tremor were running through her whole body. With it, a great resolution came into her. Now she raised her head and took aim. In 2 strokes, she cracked the egg open, revealing a wee bird, all beak and a tiny shivering body. Now watch the mother. She is surprised. Was it this that she was expecting all these long days? Oh, how small, how helpless. The moment she realizes her child's helplessness, she covers him up with the soft blue feathers of her breast. End of Part 1, Chapter 1.